Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Capers with Caps. I'm here, look, the Clink Prison Museum in Southwark, down in South Bank, London. It's 7th of August already, somehow. I've got a totally non-suitable pink t-shirt and a Walt Disney bag, and I'm going to go to Notoriously, one of the oldest prisons in the country, if not the oldest. 1144 to 1718, the most notorious medieval prison. Voted by the people. Definitely not voted by this guy. Look, the poor fella up here. Here we are. Clink Prison Museum. Somewhere I've wanted to come for quite a while, actually. We used to have London Dungeons down the other way in Tuley Street, until that moved. Creepy music, check. Dead skeleton hanging outside, check. Sawdust on the stairs, check. Bars and a bell, check. Creepy atmosphere, everything's check. Everything's check. Let's head on in. Let's get the ticket. Hiya.
Hello.
Can I grab a mission for one, please?
£10.
Thank you very much. You got bars and plastic. You're not getting out.
Plastic is glass.
I guess we're going through here. Look at this. Literally, the first thing you see is the old bishop who I was just speaking about in my previous video. Bishop of Winchester. He would basically take all your taxes, all your money, so he could live expensive, lavish lifestyle and make everyone else in the area suffer. A very informal little guide here, computer guides showing quite how big the area was.
The bishop's prison awaits those who fall foul of my rules.
Plenty of goodies. Things that were found in the Thames. Hence the clink. Look at these things, these old irons that they would have put you in. Clamped up. That round your leg or foot. Shackled. Luckily I've got a thin little wrist that I can get out of that.
Still my tongue.
Conditions in prison vary depending on a person's wealth. The poor suffered the most, often dying before they could be released. So if you did do a crime, chances of getting out are slim, because the conditions in here are so poor, you're probably going to die before you see the surface. Lady here is called Ellen Butler. She was enticed to work inside a pub down here in this area, but when she discovered what kind of house it really was, she tried to leave, but they refused her and threw her in the prison, just for wanting to leave your work. There's no record of what happened or her release. Was she freed? It's funny that they've got these records still of these people. These areas called pillories, basically stocks where those that were in prison would be taken outside. A revolving version here, look, clever invention they called it, where you'd go round and round getting pelted with fruit and veg or whatever people would want to throw at you at the time, your punishments. Got the original remains of the prison wall here, look, 100 years worth.
Had himself been a keeper of Catholic prisoners, his ingenious cunning covered a wide range of practice, and with other accomplishments, he was most clever at picking the locks of our doors and closing them again. He went round every cell in order, unfastening each door.
Just where that crying's coming from, that's a typical example of one of these Winchester geese, they call them, the prostitutes that would work here, and if they weren't done, if they didn't do what they were told, they would end up in jail in a place like this, and just basically left to rot most of the time.
It was the rumor abroad and what everyone expected.
into the torture chamber. So obviously, as part of living inside these prisons, if you didn't do what you were told, you would end up a victim of any of these devices. Look at the length of that. So he could grab you by the neck, pin you down, and you've got no escaping that. But this invention, this is called a scold. The scold's bridle. So particularly used on women. This is a bit of a degrading thing, but you would put this over the person's head and enter that into their mouth so they couldn't talk. So for anyone that was given a bit of the old mouth, that would certainly shut you up. You're not going to fancy any of these punishments that are in this part of the prison tour. That's got to be the worst here. Look at this. You would sit inside this chair and be stretched like you're on a rack. As they twisted the back of the chair, it would pull your head higher and higher until God knows what happened. Wow. We fancy the knee splitter, the tongue tearer, Iron Maiden, not the band, the lead sprinkler, head crusher, rat torture, or the Spanish donkey. Take your pick. Let alone a prison museum, this is more of a torture museum. These old clasp irons, things you would use back in the day to keep your victims tied up. Now, I just done a video on stats of Malfitchy Castle and I was ever so upset. It sounds weird, right? To not see the severed heads. They were there when I was a kid. I used to find that fascinating. But this example here is basically what you would have on the edge of prisons or even across the whole of London Bridge to warn people if you didn't do what you're told, this could be your outcome. Look at that. Scarred into their heads. That is horrendous. Wow, look at this thing here. You'd get strapped up, pulled by one arm and left to hang across the rafter. Probably until your ligaments broke or your arms snapped. Lying down version of the rack, like that chair I just showed you, that stretch you out till God knows what would happen here. They got all of these irons, sharp implements, ropes and what have you, but the simplest torture was water torture. The victim was forced to drink large quantities of water in a short time, resulting in gastric distension, water intoxication and possibly death. Ducking was a frightening, uncomfortable and humiliating experience, which usually stops short of drowning. It is sometimes confused with the ordeal of swimming, whereby a suspected witch would be tied thumb to toe and thrown into a pond. It was believed that if she sank, she was innocent. If she floated, she was guilty. Look at this, we know what he's having for dinner. Someone just made me jump, they dropped something. The gibbet, this thing here, is behind me. You've seen this before in other films with torture, medieval torture. Look at that. You'd be hung just basically until you died. Simple as that. Stuck inside that from a tree. Some original artefacts in here. Cat o' nine tails. Look at that whip. An old padlock. European flintlock, so you would have had a little piece of flint inside that part which ignited against the steel and caused a spark. It would ignite the gunpowder, the bullet or the pellet that was inside would fly out. Different example of locks and keys here. Just a little section about the English Civil War here. Look, these pikes, about 7 to 8 foot tall. Look at the end of these. If that hits you on the battlefield, yep, you're not heading home that night. A little bit hard to see from the glare, but that's Oliver Cromwell. He led the English Civil War resistance. That's his death mask, or at least a cast of the death mask. anyone that knows me knows that I love the dark side of life and the calm, a bit of dark tourism. But to think that these things actually went on, even these many years ago, it's not that long ago. If you're found guilty by this fella, off with your head, and that was seen as okay. It's crazy. We're on fire. According to the Bright Gazette here, look, Gordon's Barmy Army needs you. Like, I love all this, look. I think if I owned another house, I'd just have to make it into a creepy museum. Explore the mystery coffin. Are you brave enough to dig deep into the coffin? What's inside? You decide. Let's have a go. That is a cannonball, or something that you put around their feet. Ugh. That feels like a bone. It feels like a bone. There's a hand. Okay, I'm not even putting my hand in there. For this example of wanted posters. Right, here we go. Look, I think we can get ourselves a little photo if we step inside this door. Look at him down there. Right, we've got to press this red button. Here we go. Let's press the button. Oh, Al's speaking to me. Ah! Please wait. You're curating and uploading your photo. What a cool thing that is. Here I am. Take your ticket below, visit the website and download your photograph. And there it is. I'm really excited to see this. And just when you come out, look, there's a cool little gift shop. Take yourself a pet rat home. Look at this fella, William the Rat. Little mug in a bed. Got t-shirts. Decent. Any history buff, this is a definite place to come. They've actually got loads and loads of reading material. But just the whole atmosphere of it, yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Just like that, you can insert this back out. Very nice. Yeah, fully recommend that. Just £10, quick and easy. I'm like, where are we going? As if I ended up on Michael McIntyre's big show or something, pushing out. Oh, right. Oh, there we are. And we're back outside. Well, I would definitely recommend that. Yeah, only £10. Probably sort of 30 to 45 minutes. If you read everything, maybe an hour or two. I'm not the best reader, but I definitely like to take in the sights, smells and scents of a place like that. The Clink Prison Museum in Southwark. Definitely head down. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description below. But for now, I'm going to get out of here, see a little bit more of London. Just before I get going, I'm going to check out my photograph online. Let's see if we can get this going. There we go, look, you put your PIN, your photo ID in, and there is your photo. Let's try and download this. Yeah, nice. I don't look very happy, do I? I like it. Nice t-shirt. And as the saying goes, onwards, upwards, and always. Take care, everyone.